So I think we're recording. Fingers crossed we are recording right now. Hello, Luke. This is Luke Roberts. Nice of you to join us.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. All good. So this is another seller interview. And we are just going to chat and shoot the poop and just see where it goes. I got some loose questions I can ask if my mind goes blank or anything like that. But the intention is to just chat to you, see where you're at, see what you've been up to, and how you're getting on and all that stuff. So, Luke, talk to me. Give us a little quick intro. Who's Luke?
So I started selling on Amazon. I started doing OA on Amazon back in June of last year, I think it was, after doing Natalie's course. I tried doing PL about a year before. I bought a course which was not brilliant, and I essentially paid a lot of money to be given a private label product, and it didn't work out well. I got very little support, and it was just rubbish. So I launched that product, sold it out, made a bit of a loss. It wasn't a major thing, and then I came across. Funnily enough, met a guy playing cards, and he said that he did Amazon, but that he did Arbitrage. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And this was just before lockdown, basically. Yeah. And he told me what it was. And I was like, really? You can buy stuff from like Tesco and Argos and then just sell it for a profit on Amazon? What? So he got me into it, and oddly recommended, I'm sure, like Secret Wealth Project was like the first group I joined. He was like, yeah, everyone's in that, just join it.
Nice one. I like your friend already. So, just for the record, what game was you playing? Was it poker?
No, a bit geekier than that.
What? Oh, was it some role-playing game or something?
No, Magic the Gathering. It's
okay.
Like, if you ever see you know, like the Pokemon card game, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that kind of jazz.
I've not done any of that stuff.
No,
I know what you mean. I think I know.
But yeah, it's all those games are based on this Richard Garfield game from like 1992, and it's it's been going ever since. It's nearly 30 years old now. Wow. And if you ever hear the term cardboard crack, that's what people are referring to, because it's if you ever see any movie references to like cards that are worth like 10, 20, 30,000 pounds, that's what they're talking about. Yeah.
So, it's them. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, he's a school day. I didn't know that. No, that's cool.
Yeah. So so got in through that. Saw Natalie post it. I think it was literally just as she was about to launch or relaunch a course that she'd done previously called the Advanced Amazon Sellers course, I think it was. Yeah. So I signed up to that. That was awesome. Really opened my eyes to how the whole arbitrage system can work. And I just started from there, really.
People don't realize how good those courses are. Natalie's literally changed the game when it comes to like the more advanced side of this. Everybody talks like it's everyday knowledge, but go back.
No, it's not.
A couple of years back, honestly, it was not common knowledge whatsoever, and it's not now, arguably.
No, the amount of stuff.
So you enjoyed those courses. You learned about it from your friend playing cards.
Yeah.
And then you've enjoyed. Did you do one course then, or two courses?
So I did the PL course the year before. I've done Natalie's Advanced Seller course, and now I'm in the Elite Sellers Academy as well. So I'm doing that too.
How are you finding the Elite Sellers Academy?
Like mind blowing. Without trying to sound like I'm bigging it up too much, it's really good. I can. I never thought that there would be so much to learn about Amazon. And just
every week as well. It's every week it's like more fire. No, Elite Sellers Academy is unreal. Absolutely.
So I'm now going back now that I've kind of started investing more into Amazon, because initially, because I run a traditional kind of online e-commerce shop selling yo-yos, I took out a big loan to start that up. So I said to myself, with Amazon, I wasn't gonna do that. I didn't want to get into any kind of debt off the bat. So I only put in, over the first 4 months, I probably only spent about £2,000 on stock, which to some people, that's obviously a lot of money. And to me, it was a lot of money. But
in your Amazon, this is your Amazon business, not
Amazon,
the
That's okay, it, yeah. And since then, I've kind of just been recycling it as I've kind of found my feet. I had an issue over Q4 where Amazon wouldn't disperse any of my money for nearly 2 months. So that was rough. So I kind of missed Q4. And so now after I saw how big Q4 was. Like that whole year, everyone's just going on about Q4, Q4, Q4. And I was like, it can't be that good, can it? And like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Well, I know it's only May. It's the start of May. It's May the 3rd, 2021 right now when we're recording this. And I know Q4 feels like a long way away, but it's going to be a click of a fingers before it's here again. And that you're really going to be placed well to capitalize on this Q4, knowing how good last Q4 was. So
yeah.
Are you putting anything into place preparing for Q4 then? Or
yeah, so I've oddly I found one product last year that I sent in for Q4, and it sold out within about an hour and a half. I sold like 30 units. Nice. And I was like, oh my God. So I've already bought about 150 units of that product ready for Q4.
Yeah, don't tell us what it is. No. 50 competitors by the end of this thing. No, that's awesome. So you already know, you've got advanced notice that that's a big seller, and so you're stocking up.
Yeah, and seeing the different random things that sold really, really well. So I've got such a better idea. So I'm now investing more money. I'm trying to increase my sourcing because, as they say, you kind of got to feed the machine, feed the beast, whatever. Yeah. You've got to keep. You can, like I said, I've managed to, with my initial starting fund, I've managed to increase from 2,000 to, I think I've checked the other day, I've got about $7,000 worth of stock in Amazon at the moment. So it has been growing by just recycling the money. But I'm now like, right, okay, I want to go bigger. I want to go a bit harder at it. So now I'm just investing more money to try and grow a bit faster. You know,
I found that's typically the way people do it. They're skeptical at first, and you either jump right in or you watch for a while and read and see what's going on and like see if this is a real thing. And everybody goes through that process. Like, can it really be this easy? Buying low from normal stores and selling high on Amazon, is that really that easy? And then they hang around, look at it for a while, and then eventually at some point they go, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it. So how long between you hearing about it? And did you go through that skeptical period?
Oh, yeah. I just didn't. So I think I must have heard about it in the January, and I think I signed up to Natalie's course in the May. So it was about 5 months. And then even when I was doing Natalie's course, I didn't actually buy my first lot of stuff for another 5-6 weeks afterwards. Yeah. So, you know, I'm sure it was a 6-week course. I think I literally got to the last point of the course. And we were doing a replen competition. So it was how many replens can you get? Can you get one replen a day over 30 days? And seeing the kind of things that people were getting, I was like, right, okay, I've hung on long enough now. I'm just going to dive in and do it, and bought my first lot of products. And then once you send that first lot of products in and get your first sale, and you can see for yourself that it actually works. Yeah. So I think I'd certainly encourage anyone who's thinking about it to just send something in, and as soon as you can, because as soon as you get that sale and get, you know, that endorphin rush of like, yes, I made a bit of money, it then just drives you on to wanting to get into it even more.
Well, I think the first sale just proves it works to yourself, doesn't it? Because it's like, if you can make one sale, you can make 1,000 sales kind of thing. So it was quite a long period whereby you were in that analysis kind of zone whereby you're going, hang on, is this real? Like, can it be really true? Is this a real thing? So that took you a while. And then how long was it from when you sent in that first product then to making your first sale? How long did that take?
I think it was probably from when it hit the fulfillment center. I think I got my first sale because I only sent in about 10 different ASINs. I went real careful and bought like 3 of each item. I think it was about 5 days after it hit the fulfillment center, 4 or 5 days, I got my first sale.
And do you remember it? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was an action figure, that I'd bought for like £3 and listed for £17 or something. Nice. And someone bought it, and I was like, oh my gosh, you can still go to this other shop and buy it for £3. You're buying it £17 off Amazon. What are you doing?
So did you rush out and go buy some more of these £3 action figures then, or did you just go, okay, this is interesting? And
I didn't, solely because I was tempted to, but then I noticed within about 4 days there was about 30 other sellers on the listing. So which I'd heard was something that could happen. And obviously I know is something that can happen. So I was like, right, okay, I'll leave those alone. And it took me about a month to sell out all 3, because obviously as soon as people get on it, the price just went down, and I'd always heard about holding the price.
Did you follow the price down, or did you hold the price?
No, I held the price, yeah.
So you kept your price at $17.99, did you say?
Yeah, yeah.
So you kept your price at $17.99,
yeah.
and within a month, they'd all sold out?
Yeah, because I'd only ordered, I think, 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, 15 quid.
15 quid.
Yeah.
And then you got 5 times, I don't know, my maths ain't that good. Maybe 90 quid. You got 90 quid back.
Yeah, after fees and things. I think I made well over sort of 150% return. I think I made like £5-6 profit per figure that I sold, and it cost me 3 quid. So yeah.
Amazing. You say that this tanking, the price is tanked, or the people jumped on the listing or whatever. But honestly, what you've just described there is like 1 month's nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people have the expectation of selling through the products in like 3 days or something.
Yeah.
But realistically, look at all these huge stores, even stores like Asda and Argos and stuff. How long have they got those products on those shelves? It's going to be many months a lot of the time. So if you're selling through all your stock within a month and you get 150% returns or whatever, that is huge.
Yeah. Like I can certainly see why people get scared, because I could have sent those, if I'd have sent those toys in even like a few days later, and then you see all these people jump on, obviously, because especially I think more so when you're first starting out, you depend on how much money you start with. You're thinking, I want to get that money back to be able to buy more stock. And I think a lot of people will too quickly kind of think, oh, no, it's okay, I'll just cash out at break even or something to get my money back and put it in on something else. Or I think recently also, from speaking to some people I know who have recently started, they just don't fully understand the fees. So they think that they're going to be getting a lot more than what they actually are. So they tank the price thinking, I'm still making a few quid. And then they realize they've lost like £2 per item or something.
So basically their inexperience of or not using the right tools or something in the analysis process leads them to possibly losing money and probably tanking the deal for everybody. And then they sell out thinking they made a few quid, and actually they've probably made a loss or just broke even and not even worth it. So have you got any recommendations for what you use to analyze a product to make sure that doesn't happen? Have you got what any tools?
I've used Buybot Pro since day one. It was what Natalie recommended, and after seeing her course, I was like, she knows what's up. So I took out Buybot Pro, and I think that without it, I'd have really struggled. And it's just, for me, I just find it really user friendly. I'm not as much as I work in IT, I'm not very technical. I know that sounds really weird. And so just being able to pop my price in, hit a button, and it instantly tell me, okay, this is how much profit you'll make. This is what your fees are. Check the IP radar. It'll tell you whether you're gated in it or not. It'll tell you how many sellers there are, how much each seller has got, what the sell-through rate, the estimated sell-through rate over the next month and 6 months, 3 months rather. I wouldn't be able to make any kind of accurate deal analysis without a tool like that. I think I'd just really struggle. And I know there's a lot of tools out there, but I think ones like that are just like Buybot Pro is just invaluable. I couldn't see myself doing it without that, to be honest.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Buybot Pro was actually the original tool, the first one that did fully automated deal analysis in the way that you're talking about. So there's been a lot of people pop up with similar adaptations of it, but Buybot Pro was the originator. There was other tools that were they offered some information, but it was a matter of cobbling a bit of this together, cobbling a bit of that together, and there was nothing that just one click told you everything and even analyze the deal for you. So if those sellers that you were up against, or those sellers that you've spoken to that are maybe tanking prices without realizing they're doing it, if they had Buybot Pro, do you think that they'd go, oh no, you know what, I understand my fee structure now, and they wouldn't tank the prices as much?
I'd like to think so, because the fact that Buybot Pro also comes with keeper graphs as well. You can check the graph and you can say, right, I know that this little action figure has sold consistently for $17.99. So then when I see for like 2 months it's been at that price, or it's maybe, you know, fluctuated a little bit, to then just see it take a nosedive, I'm like, why are you, people are willing to buy it at that price? Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there are people who like to go the high volume, low profit route. And I totally understand that. And to be honest, I'm trying to, from my own business, trying to spread out what I'm doing. I like to sell sort of higher ticket items for a more profit, and I'm also trying to invest in some kind of sub $9.99 items that maybe do only make a sort of £1 profit, but if they're going to sell sort of 20 or 30 a month, then that's okay, you know.
Okay, so is it fair to say now you believe in the business model that much that you're kind of appropriating funds wherever you can find them into your Amazon business to grow it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking money out now of my yo-yo business to, rather than reinvest in more yo-yos, I'm putting it into Amazon, because don't get me wrong, I love my yo-yo shop, my little yo-yo shop, but it's never going to be. It was always kind of like a hobby, and brings in a bit of money. But I think Amazon, seeing how much you can scale it, you know, save there being some kind of mad yo-yo craze where like everyone in the country wants a yo-yo, I think Amazon's probably the safer bet in terms of it's sort of a more reliable and consistent income. So
tell me about your yo-yo thing, because obviously my background's not Amazon. My background is business, and I find it all interesting. So tell us a little bit about your yo-yo adventure.
Yeah, so I mean, I started '98. There was a big craze where they brought out the yo-yo with a brain that has the little clutch in it that comes back up on its own. And I was still at school. I was like 13, 14, got into it and kind of never stopped.
When was that? What year was
that was?
98?
Yeah, 98, yeah.
I must have missed that. I know, I didn't know about that.
Most people remember the Coca-Cola craze from like 89 with the little ones that you could get from the bottle caps and stuff.
Did they have lights in them? Did they have little red lights in them or something?
No, that's something else. That's there was a really common, most kids, you can still buy them, this little blue and red light up kind of yo-yo, which is just like a generic yo-yo that I think has been around since like the 60s or something. But yeah, I started doing that, and I got really into it, and I compete and I judge and hold contests and things. And it got to a point where I was like, I really want to start up a little shop. And the guy who was running the current UK store, the big store, he said, oh, you know, I'm going to fancy something else now. Do you want to buy my shop off me, or do you want to buy my stock? And I was like, yeah, okay. So worked out quite well. So I started off and I had a little bit of a pre-existing customer base, if you like. Yeah. So they all joined my Facebook page. They all knew where the website was. So I had I had a bit of an easier kickstart than what a lot of people would have if they just started a brand new business, you know, from scratch. But yeah, without, you know, avoiding the pun, the business is pretty up and down. Like some months you'll do really well, and then other months, I guess it's kind of like with Amazon as well. From what I see from some people, one month they'll do loads, and then the next month it will drop, either, you know, because of things going on in the world, COVID, lockdowns, or all that sort of thing.
Is it a Q4 business then, the yo-yos? Is it mostly Q4 focused?
No, actually, I do obviously do more in Q4, but whereas I think for some businesses, from what I understand, when it comes to Q4, they make the majority of their sales in Q4. Mine's kind of fairly consistent, and I'll make maybe an extra sort of 50% during November and December, but in general, it just stays fairly consistent.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think that's because it's not so much the gift market, it's more the hobbyist, and it's like people that take it a bit more seriously?
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of what I've always been marketing myself towards, is the hobby market. But now that I'm seeing, again, with Amazon, I've started gearing more towards the beginner market. You know, and I know, so for example, I had looked at selling yo-yos on Amazon, and I have my wholesale contacts, and everyone's big on wholesale on Amazon. But unfortunately, the margins just aren't there, which is weird, because I always thought that with wholesale, I'd be able to easily go, right, okay, I'll pop it on Amazon. And of course, the problem is I'm also competing against the wholesalers themselves of these yo-yos. They're on there. So they're getting it even cheaper from the manufacturer. So I'm like, oh, I can't compete with that. So
yeah, it's almost like you'd have to do the volume to be able to go to the manufacturer to get those kind of prices. Well, that's interesting. So I really want to ask you this question, but I really don't want you to say no to me, but I think you're going to say no to me. I really want you to grab a yo-yo and show us some yo-yo stuff. Can you do that?
I could try. Hang on, let me see.
Because you know when like Beck that works for us, she's an amazing singer. Like she blows you away. You try and get her to sing for you though, is like she will not do it. But no, I love it. I'm gonna put you full screen if you're gonna if you've got a yo-yo.
Yeah, 2 secs. Hang on.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'll keep talking so we don't have to edit this, hopefully. But it's amazing.
I've got enough room now.
Here we go. Right. Okay. Right. I'll make you full screen. Hang on. Let me get rid of me.
Hang on. Got a knot.
Right. I don't think you're going to be able to hear me whilst I'm off the stream, but we need it to be able to show you full screen.
Okay.
So I'll remove myself, but just do your thing and talk through it or something. Give us a couple of minutes blast of that because I love it.
Sure. Hang on. Let me just get hooked up here. So these are the kind of yo-yos that we're using nowadays. So this is what's referred to as a bimetal. So it's got an aluminium body and stainless steel weight rings with a ball bearing yo-yo. So that means that it's just going to spin for a really long time. And because of the wide gap, it lets you land it on the string a lot easier. So it just means that we're able to do more complex tricks. Last bit of the advanced stuff. I mean, most people know things like Rock the Baby. And unfortunately, I can't show you Walk the Dog or Around the World. But, you know, the tricks, we do them on different planes. So it rotates around. And it obviously gets really quite technical as well in terms of sort of the string segments and string replacements. I mean, this yo-yo will set you back. How much is this one? This one's about 40 pounds, 40, 50 pounds, something like that. But, you know, you can get yo-yos that work for around about £5. But once you kind of get more seriously into it, I mean, this thing will just sort of spin for minutes at a time. So you don't really need to worry once you get to a certain point. With these kind of yo-yos, it's just actually putting the practice in to learn the tricks. And there we go.
Amazing. Obviously, when I was at first school, we had yo-yos. They weren't like that, and nobody could do that kind of thing either. Usually, we'd try and do it around the world, probably smack ourselves in the face, smack our mate in the face, and then it'd all ravel up, and then we can't even get it back on its thing. So that's the kind of yo-yo in my experience I had. Mate, you're unreal. Are you classed as like one of the best in the UK at that or something?
Yeah. I've won UK nationals probably about 6 or 7 times. And
I can tell. I mean, I'm no yo-yo specialist, but like I can tell. That was like the Jackie Chan of the yo-yo world. I'm seeing you do stuff. I can't even do it with no yo-yo. Like I can't do that fast. So no, I love it, mate. I love it. So no, that's awesome. So would you say that's your passion?
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 22, 23 years on, I still love it. It's just something that I'm probably going to do until I physically can't do it anymore. Yeah. So, which would be a sad day. But
do you still enter competitions on it and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. When was the last competition I entered? God, I'm trying to think pre-COVID now. Probably about 3 years ago. Just because we had issues and family stuff going on, but I still organise contests as well. And I'm hoping to start competing again probably 2022 once kind of everything is back to normal and we start.
No point trying at the minute, is there? Because you get cancelled or if people are going to be too scared to come or whatever. So exactly. That's really awesome. So I might as well let you have a plug of your website. If anybody's watching this and they've got kids or teenagers or whatever that want to get into yo-yo, and what's your website to go find it?
It's yoyovillage.co.uk.
YoYoVillage.co.uk. So if you want to buy some yo-yos, there you go. There you go. Grab some yo-yos. That's amazing. So you've thought about putting them on Amazon, didn't really work out because the margins aren't there. Isn't that crazy that you can make money buying products from a normal store retail and throw them on Amazon? People don't even believe that's a possibility. But do you, when you're sourcing, then do you find yourself mostly buying stuff from like in clearance sections, or where would you
originally? Yeah, I was certainly originally doing clearance sections. Now it's kind of keeping my eye out for all the buy one get one frees, 3 for 2s, that sort of thing. Stacking cashback and discounts and whatever else that you can find. But I've also have more recently been trying to work really hard on replens and looking at products which are not on offer consistently. And I made my first bundle from Natalie's training, and that sold. So I've now been able to restock that, which is cool. That was kind of scary, but again, once I'd done it, I was like, man, I wish I'd done this sooner, because now I've got about 3 more bundles that I've made that I'm currently sending in or waiting for deliveries on, and that's real fun. Because
that's awesome, because I would consider that's not like vanilla OA. That's not the beginner stuff. That's kind of next level stuff. And if you're already doing that, like not much more than a year into the start of finding out about this, and I think that's quite cool. That's quite a journey. So are you finding, what percentage of your sales would you say are coming from everyday 2-for-1 sales and stuff in stores versus the unique bundle? Is it still a small percentage on
because I've had the one bundle which sold out. I've managed to find a couple of bundles where I've kind of jumped on the listing. Sorry if it's a bundle, but some people out there put really good bundles together, and if you can get on it, it's good. So I'd probably only say at the moment like 10% is unique bundles, but I've just sourced. I spent about, I think it's about £1,000 on Friday for products for 3 new bundles. So I've going to be giving those a go, and hopefully, if they work, then I can consistently get those products at that price and make a nice little, not a massive profit, but it would be. I'm much more keen on getting items where there's less competition. If it's my own listing, until other people find it, there's no competition. So
that's awesome. So you mentioned you sometimes find other people's bundles and then jump on them. And, hopefully
I'm
not a penny under guy. Is that what you're saying?
No. I mean, I found, so it was a bit bizarre at Christmas. I found a yo-yo bundle, and I know the manufacturer, and it was one of those where the seller was based in China, the manufacturer's in China, same city, because I looked up the address. So I assumed it was as them. So I emailed them and I said, hey, do you mind if I start selling on Amazon? And they were like, yeah, sure, sell wherever you want. So I recreated the bundle, and I was able to recreate the bundle for £3, and it was £9.99 on Amazon. So I was looking at the fees, and I thought, right, I'm going to be making about £2.70, £2.80. That's nice. And over Christmas, this particular bundle, throughout the year, probably selling about 50 a month, and then November and December, it shot up to like 2,000. So I thought I want to get in on Christmas. So I ordered enough for 100 of these bundles, sent them in, and instantly got an IP claim against me saying that they were counterfeit. And I'm like, hang on, what's going on? So I then fill out all the details. I've got the email and an invoice from the manufacturer, send it into Amazon. And it turns out that it was actually another company in China that had trademarked their own. This is really weird. So the brand, all the stuff in this bundle was this particular brand, but they decided to create their own trademark in the UK and made this bundle and called it this trademark that they'd made. Let's call it Funky Yo-Yos, for example. So although it was called Funky Yo-Yos, all the items in this bundle were of this particular Chinese yo-yo brand. So I then went through about a month of going backwards and forwards with the trademark owner. And luckily, my manufacturer managed to get in touch with them. And they said, okay, we'll let you sell out of the stock that you sent into Amazon, but you have to really keep it at the price you sent it in for and not send in any more. So I was like, okay. And so as soon as they activated, it was the first week of December, and I sold out all 100 bundles within 2 hours, I think it was. So I made a quick 300 quid within 2 hours, and I'm like, oh, why can't I do that every day?
Wow.
But it made me realize over Christmas anyway. So I'm getting a couple of my own unique yo-yo bundles ready just for Christmas to sell, because I think that, it's worth it. But then that same bundle now, at the moment, they're selling about 20 a month, which is still, they're the exclusive seller. So, they're making 60 quid a month just by doing nothing. So that's the goal. I think as much as I love doing OA, I really want to get into the bundle side of things. If I could kind of get my business 50% bundles and 50% traditional OA, that's kind of what I want to try and aim for at the moment.
Sounds good. And what you could do, I suppose, if you find something that's super successful, you could always private label your own brand of yo-yos, and knowing that particular product kind of sells well, and then you've got your own version. Nobody can claim anything against you or anything like that. But yeah, it's cool how it all intertwines together. So you mentioned that you sometimes find other people's bundles and stuff. How do you do that? What process do you go through to find that?
So there's one way, which is I know people do it, and it feels dirty doing it, but I'll just say I don't do it that often. But if I find that there's someone on the, when I'm looking through my own listings and I'm seeing that there's a few people on my listings, I'll just click on their storefront and then have a look and see what they're selling. And there was actually one person who was selling on several of my listings that had their shop was actually had the word bundle in the title. So I was like, all right, okay, clicked on that. And they had a lot of bundles, and I managed to source one or two which were where they were the only seller, and I was able to source them for a limited period of time. And I didn't tank the price or anything like that. And luckily they were regularly going out of stock according to Keeper. It was going from one offer to no offer to one offer to no offer. So I didn't feel that bad. So I've only done it a few times, but when I found it, it's really good. And I'm sure I wouldn't begrudge if with a couple of the bundles that I've done, if other people jump on mine, I'm not going to cry about it. As long as they don't tank the price, then, share and share alike. I'm okay with that. But if you tank that price, ooh.
Well, you've already said that you kind of expect bundles might not last forever. And it's one of those things, but I suppose you've got the head start. No, that's interesting stuff. So would you, what percentage wise, is your yo-yo business on your own store doing more than your Amazon business at the minute? Or is it
so turnover wise, no, I'm doing more turnover on Amazon, but profit wise, yes, because on my yo-yo shop, my profit margins are way bigger. I buy a yo-yo for £5 or £4.50 and I'll sell it for £12. So, after I've taken into account, tax and so on, I'm making almost anywhere from 80 to 100% ROI on all of my yo-yos. But like I say, the turnover is, probably about a third of what I'm doing on Amazon at the moment. And that's without me really investing loads into Amazon. So I'm hoping to get to a point where I'm certainly, especially recently, and reading in all the groups, I'm really kind of like with looking at the interviews with Matthew Wright and eBay, I want to kind of make sure that I invest in Amazon. That's like my thing at the moment. But I also want to make sure that I keep my toe in a couple of different areas and just have that multiple stream of incomes, because I've seen a couple of people I know get suspended on Amazon at the moment, which is always a risk. And, I want to make sure that if I am doing this eventually full time, which I hope to, that if I do get suspended, obviously I've got the suspension safeguard through Buybot Pro, but, even if you're out of the game for a week or two, that could, if that's your sole source of income, that could be a big bummer. So I want to make sure I got a couple of other things going on, so that if the worst does happen, I've still got a bit of money coming in. But I think Amazon, for the moment, just seeing the potential on Amazon, and even though there's been so many people jump on Amazon and jump off Amazon, from what I understand, that just happens all the time anyway. And so
the truth about suspensions is most sellers will never get suspended. That's the statistics that we see. The vast majority of sellers will never get suspended.
Yeah.
However, having said that, the percentage of sellers that do get suspended is kind of scary. I can't remember the exact figures. 10% is jumping out in my head or something like that. But I can't remember what it is. But we've got a rough estimate over how many sellers are likely to get suspended in any 1 year. But and again, I'm plucking a number out of thin air here. But if it is 10%, that means 1 in 10 sellers are probably going to get suspended this year. And again, I don't know that. I have no insider information. I don't know what the percentage is for anybody watching and thinking, Matt says 10% of sellers get it. I don't know. I'm not insider. I don't know what Amazon, but from that number is stuck in my head. Yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot. So out of 100 sellers, maybe 10 of them might get suspended. And great if you're one of the 90, but what if you're one of the 10? Yeah. Well, like you said, you've got suspension safeguard. If you do get suspended and you've not got suspension safeguard, my business partner, Karen Hudson, is absolutely the person to talk to. She's over at getunsuspended.com and she will fix you up good and proper. As far as I'm concerned, Karen is the expert in the UK at suspension. So you're in good company. If it does happen, don't worry. As long as you're not selling some counterfeit, dodgy goods and you deserve suspension, then they'll be able to help you out. Don't worry. But yeah, it can be scary just living in fear of it. So spreading your eggs in different baskets, I guess, is the smart move. Yeah. So I know you've not been selling forever, but it sounds like you've already got some real good, solid experience. If you was to give somebody a really cool tip, what would be your big tip that you would give somebody getting into the game or that's been in the game for a while? Something you've learned on your journey that you would share?
I guess just a couple of things. Sort of start as soon as you can. I'm not saying sort of jump in sort of gung-ho without having done any research. By all means, do a bit of research. If you can get on a course, fantastic. There is a lot of free content out there, which is great. But similarly, you know, the courses are just invaluable. But I think having that that anxiety or that, it happens to a lot of people from what I understand. Several people I know who started either when I started or around that sort of time. Some of them said they took, 1 week, 1 month, several months to get started. And,
you know what's really funny? Sorry, Luke. Have you seen that door just open?
Yeah.
Holly, she's giggling. Because she knows I'm recording. She's giggling now. Can you hear her?
No.
Because she knew I was recording, she's crawling. While you're talking, I can see somebody crawling across there. And then the door opens. Oh, totally invisible. We don't even know you're there, darling. Sorry, mate. It's really off-putting. Go on, I'm with you now. I think she's left.
That's cool. So yeah, I'd certainly say get started. Invest in a product like BuyBot Pro to make sure that your purchases that you're making are valid. A friend of mine who I helped get start recently, we actually started him with some private label bundles, and he's done very well on that. But he wanted to go into arbitrage as well. He found some fairly well discounted items online, and he just went and bought them kind of without checking. And although some of them he's got really, really good margins on, there's a couple that he's bought that actually he's realized, oh, hang on, even if I do sell these, I'm making 20p, it's not even worth it. I'll whack them on eBay instead. Yeah. And so I would hate for someone to go and spend like hundreds of pounds on their first couple of orders without having actually used a tool like BuyBot Pro to check and make sure that, if you do see an item that's 10 quid and it sells for 20 on Amazon, after your fees and things, you may not be making as much as you think you are. So or it might be something that sells 2 times a month and there's 30 people on the listing, there's that. I would also say one of the things I kind of found both inspirational and a bit disheartening was you see lots of people out there who will post their figures and they have absolutely insane figures. And it's very easy to get kind of a bit disheartened because you're thinking, well, hang on, they've only been doing it 6 months and they're already turning over 10K a month. But what I learned is you don't know their situation until you speak to them and realize that actually they invested 30 grand off the bat, and there's me sat with my 2 grand over 4 months. I'm like, oh, okay, now I can kind of, So I wouldn't get too disheartened. Just use it as inspiration and see that this is the kind of potential that Amazon has. And whether it takes you a month to get there or a year to get there or 2 years, as long as you keep at it, keep reinvesting, keep doing your sourcing, mixing it up, maybe get a deal sheet, do a bit of manual sourcing, reverse sourcing, that sort of thing. And just keep plugging away. You're going to have items that you do lose out on that, despite what the data shows, you'll get on it, and so will 50 other people, and the price will tank. But don't let that dishearten you. Just either hold your price or make sure that you, like you say, spread your eggs over different baskets, different ASINs. Don't go too deep on one ASIN. If you see one ASIN at a really good price, don't necessarily go and buy 50 of them. Buy like 5 or 10 and test it and see what happens. And just enjoy it, because it gets really addictive.
Yeah. Would you say you're addicted?
Yeah, I love it. I do have my down days. I suffer with depression and stuff, so that's just like a whole other thing. So there are days where I think, but on the days when I'm feeling up for it, I love finding those little gems that you weren't expecting, or finding a brand that you've never heard of and then realizing that, wow, there's all this potential for this brand that I've never heard of, but my sister's like, oh yeah, I use that all the time, and so I'm like, oh my God. And, going down the rabbit hole of finding the multi-packs and the bundles and getting your discounts and your cash back. And all of a sudden 5 hours gone by, you spent $1,000 and you're feeling pretty good, because you're saying, right, okay, if this sells, I'm going to make a nice little profit.
So what would you say your favorite part of the business is?
For me, it's when you find that product where the margins are ridiculous and you're thinking to yourself, there's just no way that's going to sell. I know Keeper's telling me it's going to sell at that price, and Buybot Pro's telling me I'm going to get this, but there's no way it's going to sell. And you send it in and it bloody sells, and you're like, oh my gosh, it blows my mind sometimes, the stuff that people will buy. So I find that are really fun. And just the thought that if I keep this going, I may actually be able to do it full time and quit my job, which I don't really like.
Okay. So what is your job? You said IT. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a network engineer. So I work for a telecoms company on a particular customer site, and we do lots of things from maintaining their internal network and their external network, and to resetting people's Wi-Fi passwords. It's a variety of things. So
and you hate it, do you?
Yeah, I've been doing IT since university, and it was the only thing I was ever reasonably good at. So I did it, managed to buy a house, that sort of thing, and now I'm just like, oh, it's just soul destroying, and I just want to do something else.
so would it be fair to say the dream is to replace your income and then be able to quit? Is that kind of your why?
Yeah, that is. I'm quite fortunate in that I'm not, especially recently, I don't really kind of chase money anymore. Like, I will be quite happy living a fairly modest life. So I haven't got, as much as I'd love to earn like tens of thousands off Amazon, at the same time, I've got what I feel is quite a realistic target in my head. And I can already see, I'm sort of about 45% of the way there. So I'm thinking another year, maybe even less. If I keep reinvesting, I'll hopefully get there within a year, and then I can just, do whatever I want to. I could do Amazon and then do other jobs that I've never tried before and not worry about the pay, because, I could go work at an animal shelter for free and then just have my money from Amazon paying all my bills, so
Nice.
That's the plan.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So I think one of the biggest problems with people getting in this game is they can't see an exit point, because if they come in with these massive high wages in the job, and then they try to replace that within 6 months or something selling on Amazon, unless you start with masses of capital to get started, it's not realistic.
That's it.
But if you've got very modest expectations, or life kind of like maintaining your lifestyle is quite at modest levels, then that dream, even starting off only with a couple of grand in stock, that dream is kind of achievable, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So no, that's cool. So I think that's everything. I think that's all I'm going to ask you for this time. Is there anything you want to mention or chat about, or Anything
Yeah,
else?
when do you think Sunfully will fully be released?
Oh, great question. I don't know. So for anybody watching this, Sunfully is so basically Sunfully is in beta, and Sunfully is a piece of software that makes the Amazon dashboard that is clunky and rubbish and don't really tell you much information good and useful and usable. So if you log into Seller Central, as much as you can see your sales and stuff, you don't know how much profit you're making, and you can't really do any analysis on it. It's very basic. It's just, here's your sales and here's the money we're going to give you, and there's not much more to it, and adding products and stuff. Sunfully is like the dashboard that Amazon should have been. But that's just the start of Sunfully. There's going to be lots more going into Sunfully, and we've got a big kind of rollout of features planned. But the initial one is just going to be a beautiful, elegant dashboard that's useful. It will tell you your ROI. It will tell you your profit. It'll help you get reimbursements for products and all kinds of other cool features as well. And it will be integrated with Profit Protector Pro and BuyBot Pro and all that stuff. So it all work together nicely in a beautiful little ecosystem. But the answer as to when it will be released is, all I can say is soon. We've got the Profit Protector Pro integration going in now as we speak, and we've got the reimbursement feature being built as we speak, and then it's ready to be released. So we are getting there, but I don't want to give a date. But yeah,
that's fair.
Right. So Luke, you've been an absolute superstar. Thanks ever so much for joining me.
Thanks very much for having me.
I think everybody that's watching this will have got some gold nuggets. I know I have. So whatever level you're at, whether you're just beginning or whether you've been doing it for a while, I think you've gave a real insight, and you've gave me a few rabbit holes I could go down if I was looking to source and stuff. And I was really interested in your yo-yo experience and loved seeing your yo-yo. That was the best. I love it. You're really good. But yeah, thanks ever so much, Luke. And
cheers, Matt. Thanks very much.
Have a great week, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, you too, man. Take it easy.
Cheers.